Hey friends, it's Ryan Mock with The Psychic Lawyer. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about the new moon on November 13th, 2023. It happens at 3:27 in the morning. I'm located in Minneapolis, so I have the chart pulled up for Minneapolis. And this is a sidereal chart, but I am going to talk about Western and how it relates. I'm going to talk about sidereal astrology because I think I can give a little bit more of an accurate picture of what is about to transpire. So I'm doing this video on November 11th. It's 11/11. It's Veterans Day in the United States. It's a time that we honor our military and those who have fought in foreign war. And it's interesting that we're coming up on a new moon in the next couple of days here because I have the chart pulled up. You can see where this is happening. Now, here's the new moon, sun-moon conjunction. It's the planting of new seeds. And as you can see here, it's happening at the very end of Libra. In Western, this will happen 24 degrees forward. So it's going to happen in the sign of Scorpio. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the signs and the nakshatras, especially Vishaka. So Vishaka in Vedic astrology is known as the star of purpose. It is the birth star in Vedic astrology of the sun. It's also known as Murugan. This is the god of war in Tamil. So this particular point in the zodiac can be destructive, to be quite honest. This is a star of success, and it's something new, right? And it has a connotation of Jupiter because in the Vimshatori Dasha, Jupiter is the planetary lord of Vishaka. So essentially what happens here is Jupiter is going to give the result of the new moon. So we look to Jupiter and what is going on with Jupiter. Jupiter is making a whole sign opposition to this new moon in the nakshatra of Bharani within the sign of Aries, sign of war, the sign of competition. Bharani is the judge. Bharani is the god of death. Bharani is where death and rebirth happens. This is literally the womb, okay? So something is giving birth here, all right? Vishaka is known as Kartikeya in Vedic astrology, and Kartikeya is essentially the god of war. The mythology around it is that Kartikeya splits into two. This is known as the branched one, the forked one, decisions. Right? Decisions, trying to merge two unlike things together. Vishaka, the deity that rules Vishaka is known as Indragni. Indragni is known as Indra's fire. Indra in Vedic mythology is Jupiter. It's essentially Jupiter's thunderbolt, right? Indra's thunderbolt, this is a weapon. This is thunder, lightning, rockets, things coming from the sky. It's in the sign of Libra, right? This is air sign, right? Something coming from the air. Excuse me. I'm a little sick, but I'm going to do this video anyway, because I think this one's important. So Libra is an air sign. Libra, interestingly enough, is the only zodiac sign not represented by an animal. Okay, and there's some esoteric secrets with this, right? So if you look around the zodiac, each one is represented by an animal or a human. Aquarius is a little bit different, but Libra is not human, right? It's justice. It's the scales of justice. And Venus rules Libra. And oh, look at what's happening here. Right on the ascendant in Virgo. Virgo is already a sign of conflict. It's the natural 6th house. And here is the god of war. Venus is the god of war. Mars has some connotations with that too, don't get me wrong, but Venus is really the god of war. And look at, sometimes the chart itself gives you, it's pointing right to the new moon. So it's making an opposition over to Uranus, the awakener, in Critica. Critica is the cut. Critica is ruled by the sun. Sun is leaders. The sun is brightness, the light. So where I'm going with this, Hasta is the hand. Hasta is known as the hand. The Hasta has a lot to do with attraction, aversion, and it has a lot to do with manipulation, to be quite honest. Intelligence agencies. So where are we going with this? Israel-Hamas started. The Israel-Hamas war started when Mars, which is in Vishaka as well. So this is a Mars, Moon, Sun conjunction in Vishaka. Two malefics. Sun is malefic in Vedic. It's a natural malefic. So is Mars coming together. That's fire. Two fire signs coming from the sky. War, the hand. Okay. We have Bud, Mercury, in Anaranda, hidden in a cave. Vrishika, Scorpio, is a cave. It is hidden. And Mars is about to be reborn and going under a cave, right? Because the sun is going to come up and it can join Mars. And Mars, when Mars is behind the sun, Mars is being reborn, essentially, and not seen. Warriors are going underground to find friends. Anaranda. This has a lot to do with the Hamas war. This has a lot to do with Israel going into Gaza to find the hostages, and there's going to be explosions. A Mars-Uranus opposition is accidents, explosions, and it's in the sign of air, right? This is people seeking justice, and Venus, the god of war. Venus is the god of war, and I'll explain this a little bit, is right on top of the hand here, right? Wanting justice. It's known as the fist. Oh, this is going to be, Bharani is death. Critica is the cut. Critica is known as so in Vedic astrology, Critica swallowed Shukracharya to prevent Shukracharya from reviving the demons. So let's just talk about Venus a little bit. In Western astrology, we call Venus Aphrodite, goddess of love, born from a seashell after Saturn cut Uranus's, manhood off. So his junk fell into the sea and out sprang Venus. That's the Western birth of Venus. In Vedic astrology, Venus is known as a guru, a counselor, but a counselor to the asuras, to the chaotic ones. We call them demons. I hesitate calling asuras demons, but essentially what an asura is just someone that creates a lot of chaos. And Venus is the head of it. There she is. The other interesting thing about this new moon is the IC. I always look at the IC and the MC because this is where the height of karma is. So the MC, the height of this particular new moon is sitting in Ardra. Ardra is a storm, again, coming from the sky, air, Gemini. Ardra is, that's Shiva. That is Shiva's, the god of destruction. The 11 Rudras come from Ardra. It's a storm. A storm is coming from the sky, and the seat of it is in Purva Ashada. Oh, there's Casey's Case. It's the dog. Must see something outside. So a storm at the seat of it is Purva Ashada. Purva Ashada, also a Venus-ruled nakshatra, by the way, is the place where war happens. Hamas has... Hamas, and I don't mean to laugh at this at all, and I am not in any way showing political favoritism toward any group on this one. This is pure astrology, and that's it. So I can give you the esoteric meanings behind it in my predictions, but this is no way showing favoritism toward Israel or the Palestinians. I think war in general is awful, but Ardra is known as very destructive. It's a storm essentially coming from the sky, and at the seat of it, the seat of power here of this new moon is in Purvashada. Purvashada is known as the nakshatra of war, and it's ruled by Venus, right? And here's Venus right on top of the ascendant. And it has to do with philosophies, because this is the sign of Sagittarius. For those of you that don't know, sometimes I think Western astrology gets this one wrong as well. Venus and Jupiter are not friends. They are both gurus, but they play for different teams, and they have very different ways of thinking. So that's why Purvashada is a sign of war, because here you have philosophy, ideology, your beliefs, right? That is Sagittarius, that is Jupiter. Venus it has a nakshatra right in here too. It is two opposing philosophies at the seat of it. I mean, that is what we're seeing across the world right now, between the Jews, the Palestinians, Hamas, Hamas more or less, but we're also seeing it in the United States. Very different philosophies playing out within the Republican Party, obviously different philosophies playing out between Democrats and Republicans, just generally speaking. So we can see many things happening with the United States here too, but I think this new moon really has a lot to do with Israel and Hamas. And by the way, yeah, you know what, I'm going to skip that. I'm not going to actually mention it. So this points toward, like I said, Vishaka is the star of success. It is the sign of purpose. What is the purpose? I think a lot of people are going to be asking over the next month, once we come up to the next new moon or full moon, and I'll show you what happens on the full moon. People are going to be asking, what was the purpose? Is Israel going to just do a straight out air attack to go get those hostages? I mean, because these are the caves, right? That is Mars. So they're investing, here's Bood investigating, where are they, right? Intelligence agencies, trying to find those hostages, negotiate. Anaranda is a lot about negotiations, hostage situations. Someone's being kept in a prison in the cave somewhere, and Bood is an investigator, right? Bood does pretty well in Vrishika, Scorpio, because Bood goes to the underworld quite often. And Mars is going to come in here too. And this is Mars Mula Trikone. This is where Mars does a lot of planning. So, where I'm going, and, Pluto, Uttara Shada, that is the sign of the Vishwadevas, right? That is the all-pervading here. So it's all coming up. It is all coming up. So when this starts, the hand, whatever it is, whoever presses the button, whoever is playing this game, right? It's Venus. They're playing a little, they're playing with Uttara Bhadrapada here, and there's a lot of talk about Uttara Bhadrapada, also a Jupiter-ruled nakshatra, by the way. It's the height of Jupiter's ruled nakshatra. It's the two-faced man. This is the serpent of the deep. It's a fire rising, right? Burning to ash, everything. And this has to deal with water, the ethereal space. Oh, man. It's just, these aren't great. The reality is these nakshatras aren't great. And the other thing is, I'm going to go back to something I made a comment about how Libra, the masculine side of Venus, is not human. And let me explain this a little bit here. Venus exalts in Revati in Pisces, right? This is an ethereal sign. So think of Pisces as everything out in space or out in the ocean. It's deep. We don't really know what it is. And it's unlimited, right? Venus exalts here. This is formlessness, okay? The opposite side is form. So you go from Revati to Shitra. Shitra is the diamond. It is form itself, right? So when we say debilitated, exalted, maybe this is where Venus comes from, and she comes into form within Shitra. And look at where Shitra is. What's in Shitra right now? It's Ketu, something headless. This will give us moksha and liberation. And it's said that Ketu comes from Pisces, rules Pisces. So again, it's Ketu coming into form. It's Venus coming into form. War coming into form. This is the nakshatra of Kartikeya, Murugan, the god of war. This is, it's the winner too. It can be very destructive. And Vishaka, Dhanishta, and Kritika combined, and this is a little secret, unfortunately, if you take a look, because it is at the tail end of all the cardinal signs, right? Mesha, Aries, the end of Libra, the end of Capricorn, which also implicates the end of Cancer, Ashlesha. Akalam Mrityu, untimely death, accidents. These are combined when they're activated, can be really destructive, incredibly destructive. I don't like fear mongering, but I think we got to be ready. And I'm not saying this is World War III, but it's the start of something new. Okay, I'm gonna fast forward 2 weeks to the full moon. Give me a second here. Full moon. Now look, we have Mars and Sun conjoined still. They're going to be traveling together through Scorpio for the next month, next 6 weeks almost. Friendship in Anaranda. Again, this is negotiating. This is hostage situations in here, and it's in a cave. Blowing up caves, fire with underground. These are just a few things, but this also has to deal with allies. And look at where Bud is sitting at. Bud just crossed the Gandanta point, where we go from a water sign, Scorpio, to a fire sign, Sagittarius. This is a karmic knot, and this particular Gandanta is known as a political play, a very obvious political play. And he usually has to deal with a lie. I'll just be really honest with you. This is Mula, the first 13, 20 degrees of Sagittarius is known as Mula. This is where the galactic center is located. It can be an extremely destructive nakshatra, but it's well known for lies. And this is a political lie. Bud is going to go almost to Purvashati here and then retrograde back. And again, this is difficult stuff, because now Moon is at 10 degrees, 39 minutes of Taurus, just entered Rohini. Rohini's got a lot to do with growth. And what provides growth? It's the growth of the universe, though. Plants, animals. This will be a difficult one. And Moon's in his own sign here. Moon rules, or at least in the Vinshatori Dasha system, Moon is the planetary ruler of Rohini. I think we'll see allies come out here, because again, we're in the sun is sitting right now in Anuranda, and this has a lot to do with hidden allies. So I think that comes out here, where there's some hidden allies. The ascendant, and look at where the ascendant is again. Venus is right on the ascendant here with K2. Very interesting. In the next, let's see here, Hasta. Yeah, so again, it has to deal with the hand. Watch the hand. This is also Vishwa karma right here. So K2, this K2 Venus conjunction in Shitra, the deity here is Vishwakarma. Vishwakarma reports to, guess who? Barney, where Jupiter is sitting. So again, there could be something with judges here. We saw a lot with Ivanka Trump and Donald Trump. Shitra is also known for whistleblowers. Truth comes out in Shitra. So this is where I think we find out a lot of truth. November 27th, whatever occurs on that new moon, whatever was percolating, we find out, and it has a lot to do with Venus. Venus is the god of war. Venus is the deep, counselor to the Asuras. But think about what happens with the hand. Are people being extremely manipulative? Did someone lie? This is a big old lie right here. Just pointing it again. Look at all pointed to Moon, Rohini. Yeah, it's definitely has something to do with fruits of the earth, needing something to grow, essentially, right? Something in the cart. So that's what Rohini is, the cart. So we're going to see what this is all about. But again, this has something to do with, and I think the IC, again, the IC is down in Purvashati. Is that Purvashati? Yeah, it's the very end of Purvashati. So it could be, we see signs of the end of the war. It could be like now we see the manipulation that's occurring, because again, Bud here, the little investigators in Mula. Mula is a lie. Are you going to be lied to? Lies defeat lies. We'll see, right? It has a lot to do with the hand. Shitra, again, where the ascendant Venus K2 is sitting, it's got a lot to do with architecture, right? Because Vishwakarma is the architect of the universe, so it has to do with architecture, buildings, It has to do with documents, because it's Vishwakarma. So Vishwakarma reports everything to Bharani the judge. So this is a karmic cleansing. So Venus is the last one to enter into, this side of the zodiac where we have the nodes of fate, right? She's the last one to enter, to go through the karmic cleanse. The rest, Bud, Sun, Mangala, they've already went through this. The start of the Israel-Hamas war started when Mangala conjoined with Ketu. That's known as a Terrace Yoga. Venus could bring peace, perhaps, through negotiations with those hostages, perhaps. But gotta watch out for lies. I don't know if this is gonna start a larger conflict, but that new moon on the 13th does bother me, just because Vishaka can be incredibly destructive. It is Indra's Agni. It is fire coming from the sky. And Venus wants revenge. Venus wants justice. It's something, it's something that it's not human, right? That Venus is not human. Venus is the reason for your rebirth. Purvashada, and we talked about Purvashada. The war cry for Purvashada is the river merges with the ocean. Purvashada is, the deity is Apas, water. It's known as riverways flowing to the ocean. Venus sees something at once. It has a lot to do with sight. That's what fire Rashis, fire Sagittarius, Aries, Leo is about. Sight, wanting something, purification. The river merging with the ocean is a war cry for purification. Adolf Hitler had Purvashada, and that was very clear what that was about, the Holocaust, the wiping out of the Jews. Same thing. It is the same, it's a war cry, right? Purification, dissolution, that's what it is. It wants something. Whatever your Tarashada, whatever this is right here, that's what it wants. It wants to be the victor, it wants to be the king, it wants to purify. And that's why Venus is so destructive, to be honest. That's what this is about. Okay, so we're gonna see what happens. Watch the 13th and the events leading up over the next couple of days. Air, fire, Indra's Agni. It's the thunderbolt. It's rockets coming from the sky. We talked about the fact that we have a lot going on in the cave, which is Scorpio, hostages, trying to find them in the cave, fire in the cave, fights in the cave, hidden allies coming out. That's all this, remember? I'm not a fearmonger, and I don't like putting out these videos, but the astrology is the astrology. I hope we can find peace. And Venus can be peace, okay? She is the negotiator, but is it a loss of negotiation, or is it the flag? Is someone taking the flag here, or is it a complete breakdown? Mars is the strategist here. Mars is planning something here underground. We got to be very careful. Very, very careful. And Revati is transport, trying to get out, right? Airplanes, getting out. The next couple of weeks are going to be really dangerous. I hope everyone takes care. I hope everyone takes the temperature down in your personal life, because think about it like this too. This could happen in your personal life. Huge amounts of just anger, because Mars and Sun in the sign of, in that nakshatra of, let me go back here just 2 weeks. In Vishaka, birth star of the sun, it's conflicts with leaders. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some leaders go down. Maybe it's Bibi Netanyahu, maybe it's Donald, for lying letting it lies. I mean, that's really what this is going to be about. Bood is going to find it. Bood will find it. Leave a comment. I would love to hear how this plays out, what you think. Again, this is sidereal. I interjected some Western. I hope you're all doing well. Please take care over the next couple of months and take care of your health. It's going to be really important. Take care, everyone.